What is Undying? 702.93. Zombies can't be all bad, right? Let's find out. What is Undying? Undying is a creature-based recursion mechanic that is essentially the mirror of Persist. If a creature with Undying dies, it will return to the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it. If it already had a +1/+1 counter, it will stay dead in the graveyard. So yes, like Persist, but with +1/+1 counters instead of -1/-1 counters. It also has a lot of the same rules notes as Persist. Unless it has haste, a creature who returns to the battlefield with Undying does have summoning sickness. While Undying appears only on creatures, if a non-creature permanent becomes a creature and gains Undying, it will still return to the battlefield with the counter, even if that counter is meaningless in its non-creature state. Likewise, if your Undying creature becomes a non-creature and then gets destroyed, it will trigger Undying and still return to the battlefield with the counter. Multiple instances of Undying on a creature do technically all work, but are essentially meaningless after the first one. Tokens can get Undying, but will cease to exist when they go to the graveyard to trigger it. If a creature triggers Undying and returns, then dies again after somehow losing the +1/+1 counter, it will trigger Undying and return again. Hilariously, Undying is harder to use in combos than Persist. More cards exist that prevent -1/-1 counters being put on your creatures than +1/+1. At least, that can be played actively by you. That said, since the creatures, at a very basic level, improve when they come back, Undying can be a little tricky to balance and design for. So while it may come back around again, it might be a little too powerful to become a mainstay mechanic. And that's what Undying is.